Okay, so number one thing, remember this key number, 52.4%. You only need to win greater than 52.4% of your bets or sports investments to profit. So winning anything above this percentage and applying a disciplined approach to sports betting or sports investing, the compound effect of this can turn profits in the hundreds of thousands over time. So again, all you need to do is win anything more than 52.4%, because after that it's gravy. You don't need to hit 60 or even 80% to win at sports betting or investing. Just get over the 52.4%. It'd be great if you can hit 60, fabulous if you can hit 80, but nobody hits 80 over the long term. But even if you can hit, for example, a 57%, you average 57% over the long term, so let's say over a year, you're going to turn a lot of profit. Now, look at it this way. You're losing 40, if you won 57% of the time, or on average 57%, that means you're losing 43% of the time. So, and that's the thing. It's okay to lose. So in this case, if you just need to get over 52.4% to win a profit, that means you're losing 46.6% of the time. And like I said, it's okay. There's these, you've heard the analogies. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. You don't have a strategy, you're likely not going to be profiting. If you're going to be successful in life or successful in business or successful with anything, sports, or even your family, you cannot get success without failures. And not just one failure, multiple failures. Same discipline applies to sports investing. The fact of the matter is you need to be emotionally okay to lose 46.6% of the time, because you only need, if you hit that, you break even. But anything less than 46.6%, you're making profit. So again, key number, the key magic number is 52.4%. So let's just walk through a quick example here. So let's say you start off with a bankroll of $1,000. Your bet amount is, say, 5%. So your disciplined approach to sports betting over the year is going to be a 5% of your bankroll, which equates to a starting wager amount of $50. Let's say, you're going to win, you're going to lose, it's a given, but let's just say, for argument's sake, you average out a 57% average win rate. Doesn't seem like much, it doesn't seem great, but you're going to see why it is. Now let's say throughout a week, on average, you bet 2 games a day, which equals about 14 games. And out of those, you win 8 games and you lose 6 games. So your net win is going to be 2 games. And of course, any additional money you're spending out of your bankroll, whether on a handicapper service or even the fees with the sports books, or in other words, their vig or their juice, let's just say it's about 10% or 0.6. You got to factor that into your portfolio to determine your profitability. So argument's sake, let's say it's 0.6. So in other words, your net wins is 2 games. In other words, 1.4. So your profit in a week is going to be that $50 wager times the factor of 1.4, which means you profit $70 for the week. Now, I know it doesn't seem like much, and you're thinking, well, geez, you said, hey, how do you turn 1,000 into 5-6 figures? I'm going to show you how. And the secret, well, when you say secret, it's not a secret. If you took business math, if you took stats, economics, whatever, you probably heard this thing called compound interest. And you're going to see how that can have a profound effect on turning $1,000 into a 5 and even 6-figure return in a matter of a year, or even less, depending on kind of your approach to it. But again, argument's sake here in this example, I'm trying to keep things somewhat conservative for you, for the average sports investor. So a $70 profit, $70 profit, look at it in terms of your return on investment. Your return on investment in 1 week is 7%. In 4 weeks, in other words, a month, your return is 28%. And over an entire year, it's 336% return on investment. So what we're saying is, with an average of 57% win rate, meaning you're losing 43% of the time, you can turn that into 336% return on investment. So a 57% win rate is a 336% return on investment. You know, where else can you get that? I mean, look at the bank, your bank account, your savings account. What kind of return are you getting there? Look at the equity markets. Is your GIC, is your government bond, is your options, is your any type of other investments you do in the stock market. Are you getting a 336 return on investment? Now, I'm not saying you put all your eggs in one basket and you focus solely on becoming a sports investor. Any profitable investor that you could talk to who has experience will tell you a key factor is diversify. Just like your investments that you do at the banks, you diversify your portfolio. Same thing here is what we're saying with sports investing could just be another investment vehicle that you or tool that you add to your investment portfolio. Even Warren Buffett will tell you that diversification and time can equal profits. Yes, you've got to be smart with how you're investing too. But the key factor here is 57% win rate equals a 336% return on investment. So let's just kind of walk through, what type of return or profit you can make over time. Because with these key points here, these key metrics here, I want to show you the power of what compounding can do to in sports investing and can do to your bankroll to turn it into a 5 to 6 figure portfolio over time. So flip over to Google, search for compound interest calculator, so you can pull it up. And I'm going to pull one up here I like to use. This is one from Google. And what we're going to see here, is where your principal, as an example, that's your $1,000 bankroll that you started with, right? Your rate, so when we're looking at this, we're looking at, say, that 28% on a monthly basis. Because this is based on years, we're going to take this on from a monthly perspective on a return on investment. So your rate, we said per month, is 28%, okay? And your years, well, let's just use one as for 1 month. You'll be able to, whatever calculator you use, just make sure you understand kind of what they're asking for. But in this case, we're going to use this as months. And you can see within 1 month, you're getting a $280 profit. So now your bankroll has turned from $1,000 to $280. The key thing here is that that's after month 1. Month 2, month 3, month 4. What you're doing is that 5% that you are taking from your bankroll to invest in invest into the sports market, every month you're going to be increasing that, because your bankroll now is not $1,000, it's $1,280. So you're going to be taking 5% of that and then using that in the sports markets. Over 2 months, your bankroll is now $1,638. So you're going to take 5% of that and apply it to your sports wagers. So you can see how your $50 sports wager is increasing over time. And this is the compound effect that it has. I mean, within almost 2 months, you've almost received almost a well over a 50% return, but you're getting closer to 100% return. But let's look over a quarter. You've definitely now you've turned over your bankroll 100%. But this is the power again of compounders. So let's say you were able to maintain, or you averaged out for the season, a 57% win rate, which means again you've lost 43% of the time and you're okay with it. So with a 57% win rate and you're turning a 28% per week return on investment over 1 year, so 12 months, over 1 year, your bankroll now is almost $20,000. That's the power of compound interest on your account. Now, means you've profited $18,342. So you see how your 4-figure starting bankroll of $1,000 can easily turn into a 5-figure amount using the power of compound interest. Let's say you're able to maintain that 57% win rate over 2 years. Maybe 1 year you hit 60%. Another year you hit 54%. Again, You just got to win over 52.4%. Okay? So you're not always going to get 57. You're not always going to average that. Every year, every month, it's going to change. Sometimes you'll be high, sometimes you'll be low. But in the end, let's just say on average, you get 57%, and you can test out all sorts of different type of win rates here, to your heart's desire. But let's see what happens if you apply this over 2 years, 24 months. Your bankroll is now $374,144. So almost $400,000 bankroll, which means you've profited almost $400,000 in 2 years based off a $1,000 bankroll. Again, just win over 52.4% of your wagers, right? And take this with a grain of salt. This is an average 57% win rate. Not everybody's going to hit it. Again, you might hit higher, you might hit a little bit lower, but just get over that magic number. Okay. So again, your 1 week return is $70 profit. Your 1 month is $280. Your 12 months, your 1 year is $18,000 profit. 2 years, well, enough to maybe buy that home or reinvest it. Take a fraction and reinvest it. The key thing here too is the fact that you never put any more additional money into your bankroll, right? You're just reinvesting what you've earned off of this already. So you can see the power of how compound interest can have from a sports investing perspective. So again, covered off why 90% of sports bettors lose. Covered off the warning flags. I've touched on kind of what we do at IntelligentBettingTips.com, and maybe I'll get a little bit more detail about that, but you can understand we're not a handicapping service. We provide some key data points that has been inspired from fundamental studies and actually application in the equity markets, as well as application in cases from MIT's collective intelligence department, as well as factors taken from Harvard's Decision 2.0 studies and so forth. But again, our goal is to provide you a higher confidence on your decisions on what games to be putting your investments on. In the end, ultimately, you can turn your $1,000 into a six-figure salary or a six-figure return. You only need to win over 52.4% of your games. And in this example that we gave you with averaging that 57% win rate, look at the other side. You only need to lose 43% or less of the time. Remove that emotional ties that you have to losing. You're not going to win every time. It's guaranteed in life. It's guaranteed in everything that you do, and it's guaranteed in sports investing. Expect to lose. You will profit over the long term if you take the right approach to it. Don't be a recreational sports bettor that loses like the other 90%. And that is our goal. It's to turn that 90% of losing sports bettors into 90% of winning sports investors. So again, this is the opportunity I wanted to provide you guys too is before I get into touching on, which I promised if we have time, and I think I'll go into it here, is 3 inside tips that you can learn from Sharps, from their sports investing strategy, and why you typically lose. But these tips that Sharps use, I'll share with you momentarily. But before I do, again, it's just an opportunity for you to test drive IntelligentBettingTips.com, see what we have to offer. Take a look at over 20 handicappers and sports analysts. Look at their performance. Drill down on them. Look at their units won. Look at their win rates. Look at their ROI and their yield. Look at their performance over time and by sport. Filter. If you got if we have a Jackie Capper, and we do have some Jackie Cappers in there, because these are third-party expert handicappers that they have their own brands and they sell online today. We've just been able to get them on board with this model. But you can see some of these guys cover 5 sports, which I think is utterly ridiculous. So we are providing you the power of knowledge to be able to filter on that and see, well, you know what? If he's only hitting a 50% return on his overall and ultimately losing, drill down on that. Maybe he did 60% in NFL, but did miserably in baseball. You got to look at those things. And you can go on. You don't even need to sign up. Just go to the site and you can drill down on that. Our goal is to provide visibility and transparency into the performance so that you can make those informed decisions. So again, sign up today. Go to IntelligentBettingTips.com, sign up, click on the register, provide some basic information, select your package. We've got 3 packages. It's not going to cost you anything. We have the Americas package, Europa package, and the World package. And really all that is each package provides a group of sports coverage. So Americas, you get NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, MLB, hockey, MMA, NASCAR racing. So all that you get within the Americas package, and the coverage you get is from all the cappers, expert cappers, and public consensus, and the computer modeling that we do with Intelligent Tips under that package. Same for Europa package. You get European football, international football, rugby, cricket, tennis, horse racing. Again, just sign up, select your package, which one suits your interest. The following page is going to be the billing page. Do not put in any billing information. Near the top of the page is going to be a link that you can click on to input your trial code. Click on that, input your trial code, and it's right here. It's VID017DAY. In other words, VID017DAY. Input that, and immediately you're going to get access to everything that the members have. We've got close to over 8,000 active members right now who use the 3 core services that we offer within your account. Again, if you decide to, if you like it and you want to pay for it afterwards, hey, we're all happy for that. That's what we're here to do. But if you love the system and you want to, and you think this would be great for other people to be aware of and to share that out, right in your account, we offer means to give you a very private URL. Share that out on Twitter. Twitter has worked great for many of our members. Or share it out in the sports forums or anywhere you want. And anybody that signs up, they don't have to pay, but they just sign up, will earn you credit towards free subscription. I think you only have to refer maybe, post out there on Twitter and just get 3 people to sign up. They don't even need to pay. And I believe that gets you either a 3 or a 7-day membership. You refer, if that link might sit out in that, in cyberspace there for a month. If you end up getting 20 people clicking on that, signing up, that's a full year, 365 days of free access. Huge value. I mean, the full packages cost for the year, well, quite a bit. You'll take a look at it, but it's a great opportunity for you if you feel this works for you. You are an avid sports investor, you see value into it, and you want to save even more. Share it out. Again, so when you use this trial, again, don't enter any payment information. No credit cards required. You'll get 100% access to the same services members get. You're not getting these cheap free picks that are easy wins. You're getting the full service. All right, guys, there's my plug. So before we conclude off here, I want to give you 3 inside tips that sharps use, and they use against you to make you lose. Well, I won't say make you lose, but why you lose. Number 1, contrarian betting. So what is contrarian betting? It may or may not be a new term for you. So let me quickly outline it. In the sports betting world, and this also applies to the financial markets, a contrarian is one who attempts to profit by investing or betting in a way that is different than conventional wisdom, when the consensus opinion or public opinion appears to be wrong. In simple terms, it might sound like just go against the public opinion or go against where the public money is going. There's a little bit more to that, but that's kind of the gist of it. See, a contrarian, a lot of sharps are contrarians, and what they do is they believe that there's a certain crowd behavior among sports investors and sports that can lead to exploitable mispricings in the betting markets. So again, this really plays into the psychological emotions that media hype play into and influence sports investors to sway their bets to one side. Sharps look for this, or contrarians look for this. It can create, the sports books will adjust to this in the betting markets, and this can create exploitable opportunities for you to get in and make some good money. So again, members at IntelligentBettingTips.com, they do this by accessing, what we do is we aim to provide one of the largest pools of public and consensus data on sports predictions, from NFL to soccer to horses, tennis, and so forth. When you go in there and use this free trial, you'll quickly see that the public opinions is swayed towards, and in some cases, The historical performance of the public opinion will be available on sports, on specific sports and teams. So, for example, when we looked at the last 6 months of this year and we looked at European football, for us North Americans, it's soccer, it showed with over 2,200 and I believe 36 games or matches, it showed a 33% win rate for the public opinion. So, applying the contrarian strategy, this turns into a 66% win rate over the average 6 months. So the example we walked through with your $1,000 bankroll averaging a 57% win rate, if somebody only followed this contrarian betting strategy on these European football matches and wager for 6 months against the public opinion, they would have pulled not a 57% win rate, they would have pulled a 66% win rate. So you can imagine with the compound impact on that, they would have turned a very, very tidy profit. So number 2, follow Sharp's reverse moves. Yeah, I get it, guys. It's much easier said than done. And if we're that easy, we'd probably all be doing it. But there are insights to look for that can help you determine where the sharp money is flowing. Again, one of the big key indicators is look to see where media hype and sensationalism that you see on Twitter, on ESPN, all over the web or on TV. Look to see where that opinion is flowing towards, how that influences the public, where they funnel their money into the sports books, and the sports books have to adjust for that, creating the opportunities. And this is where sharps will take advantage of it, and they'll start to look at this and they'll make reverse moves. There are tools available to get insights around that. Now you can go find those and use those, and that's fine. Some of the handicappers, or I said the majority of the handicappers, they already leverage majority of those handicappers at IntelligentBettingTips.com. A lot of them already utilize some of these tools. Obviously, we know they do a lot of the statistical analysis and regression testing and so forth, but they also look at some of these tools that give them indicators of where the sharp money is making these reverse moves, and that's reflected in their sports picks and predictions that they provide members at IntelligentBettingTips.com. And to see how well that performs, with one click, sorry guys, with one click you can drill down to see exactly how that's performing for them over time. All right, and the last is sports investment services, which sharps use. So again, these investment services are there to provide you guidance and insight on making the best informed or confident decision possible. The data that's provided, they must support the advice that's provided and a track record to prove it. So if you're looking for an investment service, sports investment services like IntelligentBettingTips.com, we strongly believe in the transparency and visibility that you should get around the predictions or the picks that are being made. And you get that. You don't even have to sign up to get that. Just you can go to the site, drill down to specific cappers or algorithms, look at their performance over time and by sport. And you're going to see very quickly what kind of results that you can get out of it. Again, be very cautious of any type of investment services that have private insider syndicates to get the inside track. Honestly, I have no idea how truthful or accurate those are, but the majority of handicappers do tend to plug that as a ploy to suck you in. There might be rare cases where that is applicable. Being in this game for well over 10 years, we've yet to come across a service that, in a few cases there's been these syndicates, so to speak, but how much additional value has that provided them? I wish I had the numbers to share with you, but I don't, unfortunately. But this is why you'll find 90% of the handicapper services out there are garbage, and they attract the gamblers and recreational sports bettors who mostly lose in the short and long term. So sports investors, these guys, they're knowledgeable enough to avoid these, and these are like a lot of the members at IntelligentBettingTips.com. And again, refer to the points I mentioned earlier on the warning flags, such as touting 80% win rates, or guaranteed games, or 10 start locks, or deceptive free picks, or making revenue off the back end with the sports books, and even these private syndicates or insiders can be flags. So just be cautious of this. And if you do talk to a lot of any sports investor, you're gonna and really have a good conversation with them. You're gonna understand that their view on sports is an investment. It's not gambling, and it's much different. They don't view their hard-earned dollars placed on a game as a means to an end to justify the thrill of getting some money backing the game. I mean, yeah, okay, it is more makes the game more exciting to put when you do have money riding on it in that emotional roller coaster. But you can do that. But the most important thing is the fact that the sports investor will make sound decisions and try to understand the market game fluctuations, and they do not tie these emotions to their strategy or betting investment decisions. Simply put, I mean, if you turn on the news or turn on ESPN and some analysts are telling you to go one way, yeah, that's going to influence a lot of the public money or the public opinion. They've got the mass market covered. The books will adjust for that. The sharps will come in, and investors will come in. Again, how do you know which way to go? Use your trial here. Go to IntelligentBettingTips.com. Look to see what the public opinion says on it, and look at it over time. Look to see how well they've either won or lost on it, and use that in your decision making. But again, like the stock market, our services are somewhat similar in the fact that within the stock market or your stock investments, you may have an investment advisor service that can help you get your money working for you. And the same thing can be done with the right sports investing services. And I estimate there are probably about 10% of these companies or sports investing services online that are actually reputable, and the remaining 10 or 90% or 80, 90% probably are not. I mean, and I say that because of the warning flags that are blatantly all over their sites and their marketing, the messaging that is out there, and feedback we've got from members. A lot of our members that we have today, over 8,000 of them, have tried more than 2 or 3 different these services. And you just got to talk to them and try to understand where they see the value and the learnings that they've had. And again, if this is not for you, that's okay. There are a number of analytical tools available to you to try to run some statistical analysis and regression testing. Maybe even get some public sentiment data. But like most, there's so much data and tools to use, it can create a lot of noise for you where you cannot make sense of what the data is telling you, let alone it becomes extremely time consuming to find those type of insights that make sense and provide you that guidance on your sports picks amongst all the data. So you can do that. You might have a passion for it. Go for it. Others, they may prefer to put their money with the professionals and pull out those insights from them and make a decision, make informed decisions from there. So sharps and sports investors understand this, and this is why they invest a little bit of their money with the sports investment services to get their money working for them, and obviously in greater returns than the stock market average. And as a added point or a fourth point on some of these inside tips that sharps and sports investors use that are quite profitable for them is have a look at our blog. We've got a lot of strategy coverage in general overall in terms of specific type of betting strategy, tips that sharps use, mistakes that the typical sports bettors, or even mistakes that sharps use. And we've got coverage across the board from NFL over to MLB over to soccer as well. So again, have a browse around. Visit intelligentbettingtips.com/blog. Click on the strategy button in the navigation there, and you can just browse all sorts of articles and coverage we have there. Or you can also get them if you follow us on LinkedIn or follow us on Twitter and so forth. So again, lastly, I encourage you, if this sounds like this is for you, if you want to evolve your game as a gambler or even as a recreational sports bettor and take sports betting seriously as an investor and elevate your game, highly recommend just take advantage of this opportunity to go for a free trial. You get full access to the same things that paying members receive. There's no hidden or secret or even free picks that are just easy wins that aren't going to really make you much margin. Go in there, check it out, try it out. If you love it, we've got packages for you. We also have a way that you can get ongoing free membership by using your personal link within your account and just share it out there on Twitter and the forums and so forth. I mean, you really only need to get 20 people to sign up, and hey, you've got a full year membership. But again, use the trial code, sign up, and sign up and register. Yeah, so sign up, click on the register button, go through, select the package that's going to be applicable to you, and then on the billing page, again, enter no payment information. There's a link at the top there for free trial. Click on that, enter this trial code, and you're off and running. Now, just want to quickly give you an overview of kind of where we're coming from, so you've kind of got a good feel of where a lot of this knowledge is being shared from and how it can help you. I'm CEO of IntelligentBettingTips.com. We've been working on this, our unique proprietary approach that has been somewhat coined of an evolution in the sports markets to provide the highest level of confidence available towards making most confident decisions towards your sports betting, and apply it on an approach and a philosophy, or I shouldn't say philosophy, more of a strategy approach towards investing in sports and how you can turn a profit. So IntelligentBettingTips.com is a sports investing service that provides a unique and proprietary approach to sports betting. We aim to provide, again, the highest level of confidence or level on a sports game outcome, and provide it as to you for a tool for your investing portfolio to turn good profits. And again, profits that are much better than the interest rates in your bank account and the stock markets. We provide the market and our members really a proprietary approach to modeling sport game outcomes that offers a foundation very similar to the predicting future market events. Now, the foundation or the underlying prediction models inspired from research from MIT Collective Intelligence Department. It's also inspired by academic research at Harvard, and an approach applied today in the equity and stock markets and applied by major investment banks and firms. Don't take my word for it. Check out these URLs. Go to Google. Look around a bit on the power of collective intelligence. See how other major brands in the world are using this approach, this prediction model approach, to forecast future events, whether it's forecasting stock market events or forecast market conditions for business, regardless of what industry. We took this concept, built on that concept, and applied it towards sports. And again, you might see the key word of the power of collective intelligence. By no means take the assumption that this just means it's public consensus data, because it's much, much, much more than that. It's an approach that, again, the stock markets and major investment banks have begun to only, over the past few years, thankfully, due to today's technologies, has been able to harness big data and a vast amount of data and inputs, and both statistically, applying analysis, applying a lot of other data endpoints, applying regression data, applying psychological and emotional sentiment data. We take all of that together, all this big data, and we combine it, we analyze it, we try to make sense out of it all. So at IntelligentBettingTips.com, we use all of this by combining essentially a group or a pool of leading experts. And in our case, it's some of the most respected handicappers and sports analysts in the market. These experts have shown profitable returns over the years, and a vast amount of statistical analysis, number crunching, monitoring the lines and the odds of the sports books, movements in lines based on what the books are doing with the public money flow, and applying their own data-driven betting system. So we have a group of these people. They're third-party experts that contribute to their inputs and their data to this model. And we have we've pulled together about over 20 of these experts analysis over a variety of different sports, from NFL to soccer, football, baseball, so forth. And we run these algorithms and performance analysis. And this group together, we consider the collective intelligence from the experts. Some of you might think, like, oh, wow, great. You take 3 expert handicappers. If they all both get on a hot streak, well, then that must be, the next pick must be that intelligent tip to go. No, that goes far beyond looking at that. I'll admit, we have looked at that. It has pros, it has cons, but we go well beyond that to really try to harness the power out of this collective intelligence from the experts. The second point that what we do and our members get at IntelligentBettingTips.com is we combine this data with one of the largest pools of public sports consensus opinions and sentiment data. So what we do is we harness a vast number of sports sentiment sources. And again, we pull it together and we analyze it. So at members at IntelligentBettingTips.com, they can access both the expert predictions or the expert collective analysis, collective intelligence, as well as the public predictions or the public collective intelligence. And combine this behavioral economics that gets produced out of this can directly be applied to the sports predictions and picks that are being delivered to our members, as well as looking at the historical performance of that. So again, when you get this trial in our video here, I'll give you a trial code so you can test drive it. You can see for yourself exactly the power of this and how it's worked over time by sport and how much profit is being taken. With those two key points in mind, we take things a little bit further. We took it one step further. We combine both this expert and public sentiment data, and we also model in almost a dozen machine learning computer algorithms that analyze the performance data from both. And these multiple algorithms or multiple conditions, we produce what we call intelligent tips. So our intent is, the goal is to provide our members and you a much higher confidence level and a winning outcome using this vast amount of statistical, big data, and sentiment data. Now, if you want to learn more about our services, like I said, just go to IntelligentBettingTips.com. And again, watch the rest of this video. I'll provide you with a trial code to give you free full access to the same services, the same sports predictions that paying members get today. The secret sauce to winning. Oh, I love this one. So to be honest, this is a question I get asked a lot. What is your secret sauce to winning? And it's funny because I keep coming back. It's like, honestly, guys, there really is no secret sauce. But from what I just explained of our approach to modeling future outcomes in sports and providing a higher level of confidence, as well as obviously a diligent strategy that you apply towards it, you're not gambling your money away, you get the idea of how we do it and what we do, and our approach to sports betting as an investment to win. And in my opinion, there absolutely is no secret sauce. There is no top secret piece of software, no number one betting system. There is no private syndicate that only insiders get. And while I believe they exist, we're definitely not involved with those syndicates. Our handicappers, the third-party handicappers, they are, but we're by no means are. And there is no guarantee or crystal ball to predict sport games. Our viewpoint, let data, a vast amount of data, statistical analysis, applying emotional, psychological, sentimental data, apply and combine this together, run a bunch of different algorithms to truly understand what's working, what is not, and how to provide you a much higher level of confidence in winning these sporting game outcomes. And ultimately deliver returns that are far greater than you'll get in the stock market or with your local bank. And lastly, Mark Cuban's tips, billionaire Mark Cuban. Obviously, we all know of him. He's done extremely well for himself, loves his sports. He wrote or highlighted in his blog a few years back, and by all means, go to Google and search for Mark Cuban's sports betting hedge fund, and you'll see Mark Cuban's made a very good case why sports investing can rival stock investing. So I wanted to highlight Cuban's following points from his blog. He mentions, how efficient can a market be when the majority of investors expect to lose money? The sports books know this. They know the difference between smart and stupid money. Now, I mean, this also seems to be a similar case on Wall Street. I mean, you've got those in the know who understand why and how the stupid money that drives the price of a stock up 100% or more within a day. A lot of it is influenced and directed upon the public through hype and through media sensationalism and the emotional psychology that plays a huge factor in the pricing of driving the rise and the fall of stock markets. And the same can be said towards how the money flows into the sports books and where they put where they place their odds and their lines. So Cuban also went on to say they, as in the sports books, set odds in order to attract as much emotional and stupid money as it possibly can. It, as in the sports book, also knows that this emotional money will skew the odds and bring in the smart money. And this is where sharps come into and profitable sports investors come in to exploit these markets. So as a result, Cuban goes on to say they have learned, in other words, the sports books have learned to lay off their investments so that they are just taking their cut off the dollars invested rather than trying to outsmart the smart. So what he's saying is the sports books are taking their cut of their dollars invested from really the public money or all the money that's coming in, which they've collected off your wagers. They're trying to outsmart the smart here. So Cuban says that the smart money is better than good. It's extremely good. So if you kind of know where they're taking the cut, if you kind of know which way it's going, it creates opportunity. So where Cuban refers to attracting as much emotional and stupid money as possible, this is precisely the points I'll cover later in this video on 3 tips sharps use to profit by using the public sentiment and why you lose at sports betting or investing.